Here's a small series we haven't looked at all until now, and we're going to start with the second game in the series, which picks up immediately where the first one leaves off. Ys 2. Such a short little name, developed by Advanced Communication Company and published by Victor Interactive Software. Was released in Japan in 1990 and is an action RPG. This Ys 2, Ancient Ys Vanished, the final chapter, developed and published by Nihon Falcom Corporation, and first released in 1988 for the NEC PC 8801, and it is the sequel to Ys 1, Ancient Ys Vanished. Ys, I always heard Ys. Anyway, takes place immediately following the end of the first game and was released along with its predecessor as part of an enhanced compilation, Ys 1 and 2 for the TurboGrafx CD in 1989. It was later adapted into the anime Ys 2, Castle in the Heavens from 1992. Like its predecessor, Ys 2 is ported to various other platforms following its first release, such as the NEC PC 9801, the X1 Turbo, the FM77AV, the MSX2, and the Famicom. It was also remade for the TurboGrafx CD by Hudson Soft as part of Ys 1 and Ys 2. For many years, this was the only version of Ys 2 that received an official English release. An MS-DOS remake called Ys 2 Special, developed by Mantra, was released exclusively for the South Korean market in 1994, and it was a mashup of Ys with anime Ys 2 Castle in the Heavens, along with a large amount of new content, including more secrets than any other version of the game. The game was a success in Korea, despite competition from the Korean RPG Astonish a Story that same year. Years later, a third remake was released for Microsoft Windows-based PCs as Ys 2 Eternal, and later as Ys 2 Complete. Versions of the game have also been developed for mobile phone platforms. Ys 2 was most recently remade for the Nintendo DS, and an English translation of this version was released by Atlas in North America, along with the DS version of Ys 1 on a single card as Legacy of Ys, Books 1 and 2 in 2009. The Japanese version has been released as a single game when it came out in 2008. Ys 2 picks up immediately where Ys 1 left off, as we have said. Adol Kristen is transported to the floating island of Ys, where he meets a young woman named Lilia. She takes Adol to her home, Lance Village, and it is here he will begin his quest to unravel the secrets of Ys and finally rid it and Esteria of evil. Cannot read today. We control Adol as he battles his way across the land of Ys as in the first game. Our strength is measured in typical RPG fashion. Numerical statistics such as HP, attack power, and defense power that determine strength, and these stats are increased by raising his experience level through battles. Also returning from the first game is the bump combat system. The player attacks an enemy by running into them, and the enemy takes damage according to Adol's attack power. A new addition to Ys 2 is the magic system. Adol can acquire several different spells he can use throughout the course of play, such as a fire attack or a time spell, which can stop enemies as long as it is active. The use of magic does consume a MP, though. The game was reviewed in 1991 in Dragon, number 172, by Hartley, Patricia, and Kirk Lesser in the Role of Computers column, and the reviewers gave the game 5 out of 5 stars. This game is perfect in every way. I would like to know which version they reviewed, though. It's not too bad. The bump system is a little goofy. It's kind of hard to tell what you can and can't kill, because like some other games, notably Crystallis, seems like you just can't hurt some enemies until you're strong enough, so that's a little bit of a downside for me. I did not know this had been remade so many different times and on so many different platforms. I'm actually kind of interested in tracking down the TurboGrafx CD version and trying those, because TurboGrafx did a lot of stuff really well, and the TurboGrafx CD did a lot of stuff really well too, so it might be kind of fun to play. But since there is a DS version that was published by Atlas, that might be a lot of fun to check out too. All in all, I couldn't tell you too much about the game because you can't get very far without doing a lot of grinding initially, because the enemies just get too hard and you die too quick. I can tell you what I did play. The controls feel pretty good. To get the bump combat system to work, you actually have to offset yourself from the enemies just a bit, about half a tile's width. You can't run directly into them. You need to kind of glance off them. But it didn't seem to be all that bad. We'll be looking at the first Ys game here in probably about 2 weeks' time.